It's recording. Hi.
Hi.
And then I usually have Rafi as our guest.
I know that's right.
How are you?
I'm doing very, very well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Very grateful.
That's wonderful. I'm very grateful to be here.
Absolutely. I'm honored to have you on here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi. My name is Rafi Pérez. I am an actress, a singer, a polyglot. I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hell yeah.
ATL, you know how it is. And I don't know. How else do I describe myself? I'm a quirky little ball of joy. This is how I describe myself.
What are your favorite things to do?
My favorite things to do. Oh, I love doing a lot of things. But I mean, obviously, like acting is one of my most favorite things to do.
Of course.
It's partly why I chose this career. I love singing. Singing is one of those things I do when I'm like bored, especially like I'm just like in the house, like doing jack shit. And so I'm just singing to myself, humming a tune. If I have free time, I love, learning languages, brushing up on the languages I already know. And world building is also a big hobby of mine.
World building?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean?
So, literally, I have a world that I have built.
What?
Yeah. It's like if I get into it, the whole podcast is gonna be about this.
When did you start this?
I started it in high school in like 11th grade, my junior year of high school.
Is this like for
fun?
It's just for yourself?
Yeah. It's kind of an escape from the world.
Wow.
For me, a lot of times, when the world is not great or fair to me, I go into this world. However, honestly, the world too is like not even great and fair to people like me.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
interesting.
Funny.
Wow. Because I thought you'd be like it was for a novel or it's for.
No, it's more of a therapeutic mission.
That's wonderful.
I've like shown a few people my world, and they're all like, "You have to sell this. You have to like make a product out of it." But it's really difficult. It's like one of those things where it's like, if I do create this into a piece of media for entertainment, then it is a piece of media that I don't know if anybody would be interested in, or it's a piece of media that would have to essentially invent its own genre in order
niche.
In order to exist. So
what's the problem with that though?
I mean, there's no problem with that, but it's just I don't know if there's a market demand for it, you know?
I don't know. I think anything's possible. That's a fascinating concept. I haven't heard that before.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of, like, the way it started out, funny story. I was really high in 11th grade, and I was like, what if I created a language? I already speak like 5 at that point.
Yeah.
No, it's 6.
Crazy
I already
flex.
speak a few.
Crazy flex.
So might as well like create my own, right? And I called it Satindanese.
Whoa.
Sativa indica Satindanese. And as I was creating it, I was like, well, in order for this to be an accurate language, it needs loan words, right, from other languages in its vicinity that's nearby it, that it's trading with, you know what I mean? I don't want it to be English, because this language is clearly not related to English. Like, I'm not doing that, right? And that's like fucking cheesy too. Like, you hear like a sentence and then all of a sudden they say like apple, and you're like, ew.
It just takes you out. Yeah.
So I started like trying to map out where like the Sudanese people were and what cultures surrounded them, where their lands are. Are they an agricultural society, a fishing society that will change their idioms and the way they speak and stuff like that. And then obviously getting those languages created so that I could get those loan words and blah blah blah, what have you.
Is this like something that's constantly evolving?
Yes, constantly.
Like, will there ever be an end to it or no?
I have no clue. I really don't.
Like, how much time do you like commit to it?
It's a hobby.
Yeah.
So like, if I'm like busy with school or like projects like theater or stuff like that, then I typically don't get into it. But once I do get into it, it'll be like maybe in 2 weeks to a month spur.
And like, I'm guessing obviously it has like its own laws and systems and that kind of
What
thing.
do you mean?
Like, with that particular world, there's a way how things are ran or whatnot. It's like there's rules and whatnot. I'm guessing that like...
It depends on the country. Yeah. I mean, each country has their own way of running things.
Oh my God.
Just like our world.
Wow.
Right?
Okay. Wow. That's a talent if I ever heard of one. Man. Well, when did you start acting?
When did I start acting? That's a good question. I started middle school.
Mm-hmm.
It was when my school started offering it. I went to the same school from kindergarten to high school.
Wow.
So they started offering it in sixth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing Mulan Junior.
Okay.
And I said, fuck yeah, like I want to try Mulan Junior. And I got cast as a Hun.
Okay.
And as like I was playing it or whatever, the director would always call me out and be like, Rafi, stop laughing or stop like smiling or stuff like that. I was like, I'm just happy to be here. Like I could not stop smiling. And so they called me Rafi the Smiling Hun.
Wow.
Yeah, and that was like the start. I think Mulan Junior was more of an experience of like, what is this? Like I'm intrigued.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting into it. And then after that, like years come where like I'm playing a larger role and I have lines and stuff like that. And I just kind of cut the bug like that because I would just completely immerse myself in that world because I don't know. I've always been like a very like in the moment type of person. And so once I would step onto stage, you could not tell me that I was not in ancient China. Like the year after we did Narnia, you could not tell me that I was not in Narnia. Like I was there.
Well, first of all, how many languages? I mean, what languages do you know?
I speak 6 languages. I speak English, Spanish, Catalan, French, Chinese, and Japanese.
And then what can't you do?
What can't I do? Drive.
Same. Trying to get the license in April.
Yeah, same. Trying.
Did you always want to go to USC, or were there other schools in mind?
Like when I was really little, I think Stanford was the ideal for me because that's where my mother went, and I was like, I guess it's the best school in the world.
Absolutely.
But as I started growing up and I started like learning about each of these schools and their programs and which are best for what I'm interested in, which was theater, my top 2 choices were NYU and USC.
Absolutely.
And then right before COVID hit, my mother and I went on a few tours. We went to New York and LA, and we toured a bunch of campuses in both.
Wonderful.
And I ended up falling in love with USC there. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed NYU. I thought it was cool, but I enjoyed USC much more because of the community feeling and having a solid like campus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
NYU doesn't really have a campus. It's just kind of like
It's just
immersed in the city of New York.
itself.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you ever? Well, are you considering grad school or no?
I am not.
No.
I am not. I think I did college because it's kind of a necessity in our current world.
Yeah.
But I'm not built for school.
More school.
I think I'm great at like academia, but not necessarily the prospect of being a student in a school. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. What do you want to do after graduation?
Like anything and everything. I think my main goal currently is just like getting my feet on the ground, finding a job that will keep me stable.
Yeah.
That I can also be doing auditions and
Have time for
TV
everything
and
else.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah, that's my main goal. Eventually, like one day, I would love to, be on Broadway or make music or even make some sort of project off of my world. Maybe write a book or make a TV show or a movie or what have you. That'd be really cool.
How many projects have you worked on? Would you say you've worked on?
How many projects have I worked
Plays,
on?
productions, yeah, anything.
Oh, geez. That's fun. I'll list them for you. Why not?
Yes.
So we started off with Mulan Jr.
Yeah.
And in middle school. The next year we did The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Okay.
I was Tumnus. So much fun. I really enjoyed that one. Number 3 was Mary Poppins Jr.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was Nelius.
Okay.
This role is not in the movie version. It's only in the musical.
Okay.
And it's like a statue that comes to life in the park when Mary Poppins takes them out there or whatever.
Oh.
I was also in the ensemble. I did chimney sweep and I did a banker.
Okay.
For the banker scene.
Banker. Okay.
9th grade. What did I do in 9th grade? Oh, okay. In 8th grade, I also did Romeo and Juliet.
Wow.
I was Lord Capulet and Friar Lawrence.
Okay.
It was the student production. 9th grade, I want to say, no. I don't think I was cast in anything 9th grade, actually.
Okay.
That was the one year that I didn't really do anything. But I think I did assistant. No. I backstage managed for a middle school show.
Okay.
And needless to say, I will never backstage manage in my life.
Why not?
Never. It was horrible. It was Around the World in 80 Days.
Ooh,
Do you know that
yes.
show?
I've read the...
So you know how many fucking props are in that show. And as the stage manager, I needed to keep track of all of those props. Plus a cast of like 20 middle schoolers. Plus a director that didn't know what she was doing.
Were you the only stage manager?
I was backstage manager with another girl, but she was in charge of like calling like the
cues and
everything, and I was in charge of the props and the kids and making sure they were quiet.
Wow.
And making sure the props were on the bookcase that would switch around for each of the countries and show all the artifacts of that country and blah blah blah. The amount of times I've also like left my phone on stage because the like rotating book thing or whatever, I would have to use my flashlight from my phone to like make sure everything wasn't in place because I couldn't see.
Okay.
And then sometimes I would place my phone down
And just leave it there.
and accidentally leave it there and it would be on stage. Oh God.
Wow.
I had multiple breakdowns off of that show.
Completely understandable.
Yeah.
Completely justified.
10th grade, I did. We were supposed to do Rent in
Ooh.
10th grade, and I was cast as Angel. but they couldn't find a Collins, and so they canceled it, and we did
What?
Little Shop of Horrors instead,
Ooh.
and I was Seymour.
Ooh.
I know, which was really fun. That was really fun. I would love to be Audrey nowadays. That would be really cool to do. But the Seymour was definitely like one of those roles where it made me realize how much I really love theater.
Mm-hmm.
It was like such a tiring and intense role, but I really enjoyed doing it in the end. And
devoting time to that.
yeah, it was also like my first role where I like learned how to belt for stage and stuff like that. So that was really cool. In 11th grade, we did Lion King.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was Simba.
Wow.
Yeah, it was funny.
The roles are coming in.
I know. Well, I was also like at my high school, there were no guys that like sang or anything. And at the time, I identified as male, and I was like, yeah, I could sing, and so they cast me in like everything. But Simba was like a less exciting role, I feel like, because you don't get to really sing anything. All you get to sing is like, "Can you feel the love tonight?" And even then, that's a duet.
Yeah.
You know.
So it was
All the fun like Simba songs, like "I Just Can't Wait to Be King," is young
There's everyone
Simba.
else.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that's a different actor.
Oh,
young
okay.
Simba.
I see what you mean. All right.
Yeah.
Younger and older.
So
Okay.
I was older Simba. But still, that was really fun. That was really cool. Then I was supposed to be in a production of One Man, Two Governors. Do you know that show?
I do not.
It was a James Corden show on the West End.
Say that one more time.
So James Corden, he used to like be on the West End and like do shows and whatever. This was like his big show. Like, back in the day.
What?
And it's like, it's essentially, you know, Noise is Off. Oh, you know the play that goes wrong.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
It's kind of that type of
Okay.
vibe.
Okay. Wonderful.
A lot of physical comedy, a lot of gags, a lot of like opening the door and someone's behind that door and goes,
Yeah.
"Ooh," you know what I
Okay.
mean? That's kind of the vibe of One Man, Two Governors. And I was playing a character named Lloyd Boateng.
Fantastic name.
Yeah. Jamaican character. Obviously, I was cast as the Jamaican because I was the only black person who auditioned. But also, I didn't really want to be in the show. I told the director lady, like, hey, I want to assistant direct. And she was like, okay. And so she cast me as the character and as assistant director. So I was like trying to do both roles. She did not care about any of my inputs, though. Like, I was essentially just a cast member.
She disregarded everything.
Yeah, but then that show got canceled because of COVID.
Of course.
So we never put it up. We were supposed to do it online on Zoom, but then she like had given all of the work of figuring out how to do it on Zoom to one of the cast members, and he obviously didn't do that because he was also with like a senior and was graduating. He was like, fuck that.
Of course.
So it just never got put on.
So it just never happened.
Yeah. That was fun though.
How long did y'all work on that before it was canceled?
How long? It was like, cause our like COVID announcement or whatever to go quarantine or whatever was in March.
Yeah.
So we must have started in January or something.
Oh, see, I was ready for it. Like, wow. 2 months. Wow.
Something like that. Definitely.
Wow.
It was weird. And then then it's senior year. We didn't do anything senior year. And then college.
Yeah.
So my first semester at USC, I was in one of the brand new theater one acts.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah. It was called What Can't He Fix?
What was it about?
It was about, so I was this actor called Charles. And there was the lady who I was playing opposite of, her name was just actress in the script.
Interesting.
And it was this misogynistic, horrible, like, director would come up and be like, okay, do this, do this, do this. We'd like do the scene, and he would praise me, and then attack the actress, right?
Literally one of the plays in Too Much Light.
Literally, like literally hair director. But it was, I want to say, much more slapstick in its type of comedy.
Okay.
It wasn't written extremely well. I will say, like, not to like knock anybody.
Just gotta be honest.
But I gotta be honest, not my favorite of these shows I've done. However, I did meet a lot of people, which was very worth it. I met a lot of my friends that I have to this day.
That's very cool.
Yeah, and the tech process was also like very like feral, delirious type vibe. You know what I mean? We would go to like 2 a.m.
That was
doing tech.
The one act play is like a 1 week process, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was a bonding experience, a trauma bonding experience.
Yeah, I was struggling together, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really fun. The second semester of freshman year, I auditioned for main stage, and I got in. I was,
of course,
doing In the Red and Brown Water.
Okay.
Directed by Anita.
Okay.
My queen, Anita Dishiel Sparks. This show, it's a really, really interesting show. It's about this runner girl. Her name is Oya. Mm-hmm. And this is in Louisiana. Okay. A fake place in Louisiana. And she like is it's like a story of Black womanhood. She is navigating her world with all of these men trying to get her attention while she's trying to just complete her dream of being a runner. Mm-hmm. But then there's like this white guy from the city who's like, you gotta sign up with me, kid, and all that stuff. I was playing this character named Ogun, like this sweet sort of guy who was trying to get her attention. So there's like Shango, like the bad boy.
Okay.
I was like the good
interest.
boy.
Okay.
So I had like a stutter, and I would like treat her super well, like give her gifts and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She ends up with Ogun, but in the end, she realizes that she doesn't love him either. So it's a really interesting story, and I learned a lot. And obviously, I love Anita, so that was a great experience. But yeah, it's kind of like a fever dream now.
Why?
It feels like so long ago, but it also feels like so recently, and I feel like I've changed so much since then.
A lot of progress.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It was also like the first time I had to learn how to do a stutter. I had to do also that stutter with an accent, like a Louisiana Creole accent.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a whole
thing.
What
a combination.
It was such a combo. But I was really proud of it in the end, what I created. So it was really fun. That was also where I met Nema, who in the next semester...
Very talented.
Yeah. Nema directed Once on This Island. Mm-hmm. And I obviously had gotten to know her very well during In the Red and Brown Water. Mm-hmm. So I was like, let me audition for this. I love Once on This Island. I had watched it like when I was in high school. They took us to New York, and they took us to the Broadway show. So I auditioned. I was trying to get Osaka, Mother of the Earth, but I got cast as Papage. And initially I was like, I don't know. Like, I knew my history as a villain, which was just Hun in 6th grade, and I knew that I was bad at being a villain from that context. So I was like, oh shoot, like I've never been a villain like this before. But I eventually found a sort of creepy smile type villain character that became my part of my physicality as Papa Gabe. So I had sort of taken that one weakness from long before and repurposed it, retransformed it, and made it useful for a different villain type of character. Yeah. And this show was also like one of those most like challenging musicals for me. But I really pushed myself, and I feel like I achieved a lot of really cool things.
Absolutely.
During that show. Now, there was a lot of controversy during that show between
There was controversy.
cast and crew. There was like a little... I don't know if it's worth it
Was
getting
it just
into it.
personalities or just...
Personalities were clashing. Tech Week was... the air was thick.
Crushing? Okay. A lot of tension.
But that eventually also turned into a different kind of trauma bond with people in my cast and blah, blah, blah.
Understood.
So, really, theater is all about trauma bonding.
It's always theater. Always theater.
Exactly. Then, sophomore, second semester... What did I do sophomore, second semester? Oh, I did an Off-Broadway show.
Wow.
So my friend from like literally the first week of school that I met, she's a screenwriter, right? Screenwriting major, and she had written this play about a club in LA that had burnt down under mysterious circumstances. It was a gay club for gay youth. And it got burnt down under mysterious circumstances. And she had written a whole play about this friend group that would hang out there. Okay. And all that stuff. And it kind of also turned into a little bit of a murder mystery, like whodunit type vibe. But yeah, it was a really fun show. The experience of also going to New York,
wow,
amazing. Yeah, it had won like the New York Playwrights Festival, so that's why we had the chance to go out there and perform there. Yeah, and we had our previews as well in Santa Monica.
Oh man!
So we were all over the place.
How long were y'all in New York for?
We were there for, I want to say, a week or two. Like, it really wasn't long. And we also had almost no budget, almost no set. We had, like, built a set for our Santa Monica performances that couldn't be transferred to the one in New York because they had different regulations about what you could use as set.
Absolutely.
And it turned out everything that we had built
wasn't
allowed. So we're like, fuck,
that's
like,
fun.
Oh God. So we had to essentially source all of everything in New York.
Wow.
It was insanity. Like, technically, we were also not allowed to have non-native New York actors in the play. Yeah, like what? It's supposed to, like, for the Playwrights Festival, you're supposed to cast New Yorkers who live in New York.
Are locals. Yeah. How did that work out?
We just kind of said that we lived in Greenwich. Okay. And then they were like, okay. Cool. Okay. They didn't really double check, so we were cool. But yeah, it was a really cool opportunity to perform Off-Broadway.
That's amazing.
That show also had some controversies between crew members. The cast actually had no problems, which is honestly great. Very unlike
rare.
Theater, you know, very rare. But yeah, that was a great experience. Then junior year, first semester, I was in Hit the Wall.
Okay.
Which was a main stage. I was originally not going to audition for anything. I wasn't going to audition for main stage or...
You just needed a break?
Yeah, I just needed a break, and I was wanting to go into, like, screen more because I had been doing a lot of stage and I wanted to do screen. However, I believe it was Stevie Johnson, one of my favorite teachers at USC. He came up to me and he was like, "You need to audition for this." And I was like, "Oh, dude, like I was planning on not." If Stevie asked me, I'd have to do it. Like, so I went to the audition because all of the like main stage auditions were already done, but this show specifically had more roles that they needed to fill, so they were doing extra auditions. I went in and I did the audition, and I was like, I left the audition and I was like, I booked it. Oh, damn it.
Damn, just too good.
I booked it. Like,
just too goddamn good.
Because the character was literally like
it was
me.
perfect.
Like, it was the sassier, like jaded version of me. I'm like,
Perfect
okay, so yeah. And honestly, this show, I'm glad I am really glad I auditioned for it because the show was probably the most transformative for me as an actor.
Oh wow.
I feel like I got to know my own process a lot better, and this was one of the roles that I feel proudest of in terms of the way that I constructed it. Also, our directors, Greg Daniels and Siobhan Dyer, they, first of all, the sassiest directing pair you will ever have in the world. But they also just gave such constructive and good feedback that every single time I was excited for their notes. I was ready to improve my character each and every time. And it got to a point where towards the end of the rehearsal process, I was taking it every single note. I was doing it all. And they were like, they did this thing where they were like, hey, everybody should like look at Rafi, like look at what Rafi's doing. She's doing great. I have no notes for Rafi, like blah, blah, blah.
That's wonderful.
And
that's wonderful.
I had texted on the cast group chat like, hey, like I'm so sorry to have eaten y'all up, but like better luck next time.
We love to
and they were like, we're never giving you a compliment again.
To hear it. That's wonderful.
So yeah, Hit the Wall was an amazing experience. And that was like the first time where like after the show, I would just be walking around campus and someone would come up to me and be like, you're in Hit the Wall, right?
That's great.
And I'll be like, yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
I was very proud of that. The next semester, junior year, second semester, I was in Rent. And I got cast as Angel. I know. My third main stage at this point. Oh my God. Amazing. I Angel had always been my dream role.
Yeah.
I had been snubbed in 10th grade.
Okay.
And this was like me being like, it was
just kind of a full circle moment.
It was so full circle. I was like, this is my chance.
This is for you.
So I went into the audition, essentially being like, I booked it. Also, Anita, my director for In the Red and Brown
First
Water,
one,
she was directing this one. I was like, I have it in the bag.
You already have a connection there.
I go into that audition, fucking crush it, get the callbacks, do the callbacks, get the role, and now I'm cooking. I was cooking.
Too easy.
I think Angel was one of those roles that like I had to kind of learn how to let go because it was one of those things where like I had idealized my version of Angel for years and I wanted to be the best Angel that Angel ever was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that turned into like, well, what does that mean? You know? I would be very hard on myself because I was like, this is not how I imagined it. But then I think in hindsight, I can kind of see like, oh, like you were just going through the process. Like there is no ideal.
Yes.
There is just your version. And so I had to be fine with that.
Was there a wall that you was hitting like during rehearsal, or is just?
Yeah, there was this. I mean, in I'll Cover You, there was the one note that like I could not hit, and I was getting very upset with myself. I eventually found my own version of doing it that didn't damage my voice. So that was definitely an important part of the process for me. Otherwise, I was implementing literally everything that I had brainstormed in my mind about this character since I had known about this show. You know what I mean? I've just always imagined myself in the shoes of this role, and I was very happy to do it. Now, this show was also double cast.
Oh, okay.
And Hit the Wall was also double cast, but there was not a lot of trouble between the two casts.
Okay.
Because people like respected each other's interpretations of the characters.
What happened here?
In Rent, it was very much less so. I think also double casting is not, especially for like musical theater, it's not very conducive. Because musical theater, like there is a right and wrong as opposed to stage. You know, like you can sing the wrong note.
Yes.
So people are much more prone to comparison, I would say, for musical theater than for plays.
I see.
And so there was a lot of that comparison, a lot of things. I was very happy with my own performance.
Of course.
But I know a lot of people were not happy with my counterparts' performances. And it turned into kind of a toxic environment. But I mean, by the time it was over, I think everything was fine and everything was cool. But audiences had very different reactions to our shows. So
So for the double cast, was there a lot of interaction between both casts?
Yeah. So for when we had double casting at USC, we would all come to rehearsals like as pairs, essentially. And we would both learn it at the same time.
Oh, okay.
And then like after the fact, you would add in your own sort of flares or whatever.
And for performances, are both casts present? Like if one cast is performing, is the other cast just watching? Or are they just
not necessarily?
No. So
typically it was like courtesy for like the cast to go to like their opening and close it for the other cast.
So was it just a matter of just like friends and people kind of telling what their favorites were and who they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
A lot of people said there was a good cast and a bad cast.
Oh man.
For Rent.
That's got to be a very.
It was very
feeling.
Divisive, and I think that's also why they got rid of double casting at USC
very quickly.
Because it wasn't good, especially.
It makes it a competition.
Theater. A lot of competition, sort of vibe. So that was my junior year.
Okay.
And my senior year, first semester, I was in the Black Arts Collective production of 7 Guitars. By
That was
August
my
Wilson.
first performance that I saw of you.
Really?
And that was really cool.
Oh my God.
That was exceptional.
Thank you. I think 7 Guitars was one of those shows that I didn't expect myself to, find a place in, but I did.
Yeah.
I played an auntie.
You made it your own.
Yeah, Louise. I also had the amazing opportunity to get feedback from Michelle Shea.
That's cool.
Who played Louise on Broadway.
Wow.
I know. So that was absolutely amazing. And I think her feedback was really what solidified the character for me. Because otherwise it felt a bit like a caricature of like auntiness. And so, yeah, I kind of found her, and this was definitely like one of those roles that I had a lot of fun doing.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the most technically complicated or the most developed of the characters that I've done, but it was just really fun.
Yes.
Just to...
Could tell you was having a lot of fun with that role.
Yeah.
And very natural with it.
Yeah. It's one of those roles where like you're allowed to not give a fuck because you're an older lady and you could just do what the fuck you want, So that was definitely definitely a lot of fun.
That was really cool.
Yeah. And even the rehearsal process was always so fun. Jamari, our director, always made sure
Very
rehearsals
talented,
were
yeah.
very like engaging, you know. Yeah. I think stresses got high towards like Tech Week.
Yeah.
But we eventually pulled it together, and I think the show had a lot of solidarity between cast and crew.
Yes.
Where we all felt like we were a part of a team, especially since our opening night was right after Election Day.
Oh,
Yeah.
I completely erased that out of my mind.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
So literally, like during our dress rehearsals, we would go backstage, and we would be checking updates.
Oh.
And so the show took on a very, very different meaning to me after Trump won than before. Because now it's a symbol of resistance. You know, in a world where blackness is denied or less appreciated or what have you, doing black art is a form of resistance.
Absolutely.
And that is also kind of how I started to deal with the new reality of our world, is that my art can be the resistance.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Seven Guitars.
That was
And
a
then
wonderful performance.
this semester, obviously, you know, I'm in Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind.
Crushed it.
30 plays, 60 minutes.
Crashed it. Crashed it.
I'm one of the MCs. This is my first time doing improv at all on stage.
How'd you feel about it?
I honestly, like, it was a lot less daunting than
Initially.
initially
Yeah.
imagined it. I don't know. I've always been like someone who on stage could get myself out of a pinch or whatever if something's happening. But I had never like done
Based on an entire
full
performance.
improv. Yeah. But it was a lot of fun. It was like one of those really fast-paced shows.
Absolutely.
You're sweating at the end, can barely fucking breathe, but you know the audience had such a good time. Like,
Yeah.
And the audience was honestly my favorite part of doing that show.
It was such a,
Just seeing their reactions, seeing what they would say. Because, I mean, obviously our cast, so talented, so
talented.
amazing.
Brilliant.
Amazing, so much fun. And they trust me, they make the show. They make the show so good.
All of you.
But the audience is the piece that I feel like as a cast member makes the show complete.
They make it feel original every single night.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, I just loved doing that. MC is also so much fun because I get to, you know, pick on the audience a lot more than the other cast members with Amelia. So that was just so much fun. And other projects that I've also been doing, I did a short film when I was in Atlanta, which should be premiering in May sometime.
Okay. Congratulations.
So I'm super excited about that one. And then a concept trailer that comes out in a week.
Okay.
Or less than a week, actually.
Damn.
For a web series that we're going to film
Just
in
saw
October.
that. Just saw that. Yeah. Congratulations on
I'm
that.
super excited for both of those projects.
What's the web series about?
The web series it's very meta. It's about this director that wants to become like the best director in the world, and so creates the show about themselves. That I, the girlfriend, am like playing them.
Okay.
And in the show that I'm playing them, I'm making a show about Me.
Okay.
And yeah,
Okay.
and so the character I play is called Anastasia, but the character she plays is called Echo, and then the director of our actual like whole thing is named Echo. So it's
Wow. Okay.
like meta on meta on
Okay,
meta.
cool.
Meta. It's
Wow. Wow.
but it's really fun. Like
Wow.
it's a sort of dramedy type vibe, and it's very.
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe this motion, but
Okay.
it's very,
Okay, cool.
very like physical comedy, I think.
Okay.
Type vibe.
Man,
Yeah. So those are all the projects I've done in my life.
what a
In
talent.
terms of theater, at least.
Very talented.
We're not talking about music. It's a whole nother thing.
Very talented. Well, first, would you do improv again?
Yeah, honestly, yeah. I think the reason why Too Much Light Makes the Baby Go Blind was good for me is because it had a lot of sketches that like are written and I could memorize those things.
Yeah.
But, with more structure or something, like I would love to try a more freeform improv or stuff like that. I don't know. I've never thought of myself as like a improv comedy sketch type of person.
Now you are.
Now I am. I've always thought of myself as more of a drama or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, stage
Yeah.
comedy type person.
Do you feel like you would ever approach screen acting, or would you do more screen acting? Or do you feel like you're going to stick primarily to theater?
I'm definitely trying to get more into screen acting. It's one of those things that's like screen acting, gets you money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stage acting gets you experience. I feel like I've had plenty of experience
Absolutely.
so far. If I were to do another stage show, it would be because like I need something for, prospective managers or casting directors or whatever to see.
Okay.
But I think it's time for me to get my career a chug in.
Yeah. Do your thing.
Yeah, and these two opportunities that I was talking about, like already are getting some momentum.
Yes.
That I'm super super excited about. I don't know if I can divulge all of that information legally right now, but yeah,
But can't wait to watch them both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm super excited for them to come out.
Is there a lead role, or is there a role that you would like to portray in the future?
If they ever do a revival of Rent on Broadway, trust and believe I am auditioning for you for that.
You will be there.
I will be there.
Yeah.
I would love to play Marcy Park in the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee.
Oh, I don't know that.
You don't know that one?
No.
She's the. So, I mean, I feel like the name of the title of the show is
kind of
self-explanatory. It's a spelling bee. But she's the character that sings the "I speak 6 languages." Anyways,
I don't know what any of that is.
Fun. I mean, it's kind of the motto of my life.
Okay.
I speak 6
You do
languages.
speak, yeah.
So
That'd be really cool.
that would be funny to do.
That'd be you.
That would be me. Yeah.
Interesting. With USC, do you feel like? I mean, do you have any regrets when it comes to USC, or do you feel like this was the right school? This was the right one.
I definitely think this is the right school for me. I had been very lucky as a BA to be cast in a show every single semester,
That's awesome.
which is not the case for a lot of BAs. So I'm very proud of that, and I'm very lucky, and I'm very grateful. And I think there are a lot of like issues, obviously, with USC and the way that sometimes they treat BAs in SDA.
Heard a couple of things.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, obviously I have my complaints, but overall I'm very, very satisfied with my experience at USC and my education. and the classes that I was able to take.
Absolutely.
I feel very fortunate that I can say that. So, yeah, I think it was the right choice.
Are there any USC students or creatives or anyone in the program that you wish you would have been able to collaborate with or want to, really? It's like high in your list.
Ooh, that's a great question. I wish I would have worked with Jordan Cooper. I fucking love her. She's one of my besties. She is a BFA, a senior, same as me. But yeah, I feel like working with honestly a lot of the BFAs is that I've never gotten to work with.
Yeah,
I would have loved to work with them. And it's just sometimes our interests don't align, and they have to do shows that they have to do, and sometimes I don't want to do those shows.
Schedules just don't want.
Yeah, it's how the cookie crumbles.
It's okay.
But yeah, no, I admire a lot of different artists at USC.
Absolutely,
a lot of different artists that I wish I would have worked with or wish I could work with again.
Of course,
you know what I mean. But you know, the future could hold those opportunities.
Absolutely.
Without the sort of restriction of USC's BA versus
requirements
BFA requirements, whatever, what have you.
Are there any creatives that you'd like to work with, just in the industry in general, that are high on your list?
I mean, like, I don't have any specifics. I have like I want to work with A24. That would be really cool.
Hell yeah.
I would love to work like maybe even like in Smosh. That would be cool.
That'd be cool as hell.
Smosh or
man.
or like Dropout. Do you know them?
Dropout TV.
Yeah, Dropout TV.
Yes.
That would be really cool too for me.
Are they the one that has the improv show? I'm forgetting his name. Do they have like that game show?
The Make Some Noise?
Yes.
Yes.
I would love to be in that show.
I would love to.
That would be that would be an achievement. Oh man.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, stuff like that. Oh, Star Kid. I would love to work with Star Kid.
Star Kid.
Yes, Star Kid Productions. They make musicals online, and they post them on YouTube.
Wow.
Mostly comedic musicals. And I've been using their songs as like audition songs for years.
Okay.
I fucking love them. Who else? What else? Oh, Abbott Elementary.
Oh yes.
Like low key.
You would be sensational on that show.
I would fucking.
You would fit right in. That'd be actually really cool to see you on that show.
I would literally fucking love it.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. This is kind of embarrassing. I had DM'd Quinta Brunson on Instagram.
Do what you got to do. Honestly,
like,
though,
hey,
you never know because they could see it. They could look at it.
Yeah, you never know. They've never.
Or
Quinta
when you
never responded.
When you get to a point and then they see your message that you've already messaged them, be like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Okay, I'll connect with them now.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So maybe one day, fingers crossed. Who knows?
Yeah.
That would be cool as fuck. I'm trying to think. Like, if The Good Place were still running, I would love to be on The Good Place.
Absolutely.
Those are the main things. I think.
You seem like the kind of person that absolutely crushes auditions.
I try to. I'm the type of person who, like, no matter if it's like the worst day of my life or whatever, when I'm going into the audition, I am putting it on. I'm like, hi guys, how are you? You know what I mean? Like, it's all of my energy is getting put into that audition, and I'm trying to give them enough personality so that they like me.
Okay. Just being yourself.
Yeah, being myself. You know.
That's fair. Do you feel like when it comes to acting, obviously all the different methods are in a different stretch. Do you feel like you try to emulate any of those, or do you feel like you kind of just not wanting to? How do I explain it? I know there's actors I feel like they're bogging themselves down if they feel like they're learning a method or a strategy, or they're trying to learn all three of them or more. Do you feel like that's important for you, or no?
I think the way that I approach my acting is very visual based.
Okay.
It's not necessarily inspired off of other people.
Yeah.
I like to think of my physicality kind of like those Pixar shorts.
Very unique.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where it's like you understand the storyline of the short just based off the physicality.
Absolutely.
They're just making like grunt noises or whatever. They are not saying actual words.
Yeah.
But you get it and you laugh and you're engaged. That's because that's good physicality. So I try to think in terms of Pixar physicality. I try to think in terms of like,
That's cool. That's smart.
yeah, well, especially for comedies, you know.
Yeah.
In terms of like mentally, I like using the Nemirovich-Danchenko method, which if you ever taken acting theory at USC, you would know. But Dr. Carnegie, she explains it much better than I do. Nemirovich-Danchenko was a colleague of Stanislavski back in the day. And he was the first one to talk about inner monologue. But his version of inner monologue is very different from our current versions of inner monologue. So instead of like finding a line that logically takes you from one idea to the next, like we do in our modern sort of version of inner monologue, you are saying what you cannot say out loud. Does that make sense? So whatever clandestine thoughts you are having, whatever you're trying to hide, you voice that.
Interesting.
In the Nemirovich-Danchenko version of inner monologue.
I feel like that had to take so long to actually do, or like to learn. I feel like.
No, I don't think so.
You think it's like really easy?
I think it's pretty easy. Because a lot of characters are saying something that's contradictory to what they actually want.
Is it kind of like just speaking your mind, or?
Yeah, it's like saying what their mind is saying.
Interesting.
Like not saying what they are actually.
That's
saying.
fascinating.
That makes sense.
What do you feel like is your biggest achievement?
My biggest achievement?
Because there's so many.
Oh God, I don't know. I don't think of like my life in terms of
milestones.
milestones like that. My biggest achievement, honestly, probably getting into USC.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
That was a big accomplishment to me. I had applied to a whole shit ton of schools, and I got into the majority of them because I did not have to turn in my SATs because of COVID.
Yes, it's the same thing. It's optional.
Genuinely
amazing.
My SATs were trash.
I never took the SAT. I just took the ACT.
I took the ACT.
Yeah.
I took both, and both of them were trash. My scores were horrible. I don't do well with standardized tests.
I hate those. No.
Yeah, it was kind of a flex to get into USC.
That's awesome.
But I guess also Off-Broadway is a big milestone.
Yeah.
And also
it is.
Edinburgh Fringe.
Yes.
That's a big milestone.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So it's like every 2 years I have a big milestone.
Every 2 years.
Yeah. USC, 2 years. Off-Broadway, 2 years.
Okay, cool. All right.
Edinburgh. Yeah. Balance.
Do you have any projects that are upcoming that's in the works?
Yeah, Too Much Light.
Of course.
We're still have to do our Edinburgh run.
Absolutely.
We're on a hiatus right now, so super excited to actually go to Edinburgh. I've never been to the UK.
I've never been out of seas.
So that'll be really cool.
Yeah.
The short film I was talking about is coming out soon-ish. And depending on how its run goes, it could possibly get picked up for a feature film.
Wonderful.
version. So,
so
fingers
cool.
crossed for that one.
So cool.
And then the other project is the concept trailer, which will come out this week. And then we are planning on doing shooting the full web series in October.
Fantastic.
But I don't know when the full web series would come out. It'd probably be next year or
Next year.
something. But yeah, those are my up and coming projects.
Are you ever planning on directing something?
No.
Be it theater, be it screen acting?
No, I don't really consider myself a director.
No. You don't ever see yourself behind the camera or behind the scenes?
Like, I do in other things. I think, like, I understand how to be a director, and maybe one day I'll become a director. I'll do directing or whatever. But I'm much more of a visual sort of person, and in terms of like directing, I feel like you kind of have to give in to the visual version of the actor, however they interpret your direction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I could handle that.
No?
I would want to be like, do it like this, and then
very
it's like
particular.
I would be very particular, and everybody would hate me as a director. But I think like maybe far future. If I'm doing something with my world, I would love to.
Yes.
I would love to star in it, but
That'd be cool as hell.
I would probably be like a cultural consultant, world building consultant,
The advisor.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I make sure that everything is within the vision of like what exists in the world. Otherwise, my behind the scenes stuff would probably be limited to makeup artist or translator for like dubs and subs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Who are your favorite? Who has been your favorite collaborators over the past 4 years for you?
Who have been my favorite collaborators?
Yeah, or like, who's your favorite people that you've worked with?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I love Anita. Anita was one of my favorite directors. That was so much fun. Honestly, Greg and Siobhan, they were amazing directors. I loved working with them. I was about to be in Marisod, just because I wanted to work with Stephanie Schroyer so bad. I fucking love Stephanie Schroyer, and I would work with her any day. In terms of other students that I've really loved working with, Farah, do you know her?
I think I know who she is.
Farah Hosseini.
Yeah.
She's
been involved in a lot.
Phenomenal actress. But I've had the privilege of doing 2 shows with her now. And she was just amazing to work with, to collaborate with. Luke Baccaro is also one of those people that I've worked with multiple times, and I've really enjoyed it every single time. Trying to think. Devon is also Devon Collier.
Okay.
Collier. I don't know. I always pronounce it Collier, but I don't know if he likes that. But yeah, he's always been a pleasure to work with. Brooklyn too.
Yeah.
Always loved working with her. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole lot of people that I loved working with.
You seem to have a great relationship with directors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to, at least. Yeah.
Do you feel like that's like the most creative, I guess, aspect? Or no, not the most creative, but I think that's the most important aspect when it comes to being a production of developing that bond.
Well, because at the end of the day, it's the director's vision.
Yeah.
You need to work with the director because you need to know what you're doing.
Yes.
On stage, right?
Yeah.
So, getting cozy with them makes it so much easier for you to go up to them and ask them about specifics.
Yeah.
So, majority of the time, I'm pretty good friends with the director, even if they are a teacher.
Absolutely.
Or stuff like that. So, I try to keep a good rapport with my directors. Yeah.
You said earlier that there was at one point where you wanted to get more into screenwriting. Is that still a priority? Is that still a focus? Is that still something that you want to do, or no?
Screenwriting?
Not screenwriting.
Screen acting.
No, not screen acting. I think you said. Oh, did you say that you wanted to do? Oh, did you say you wanted to focus more on screen acting? I thought you meant writing.
Screen acting, yes.
Got you.
Sorry.
Got you.
Maybe I accidentally did say screenwriting.
No, that's fine.
Um,
Okay.
I mean, screenwriting would also be cool, but like I'm not much of a writer.
That's not for you.
Not really for me.
No.
I could try.
Okay.
See what happens, but
Okay.
I have no concept of narrative arc. Like,
What about music?
music, I am really good at like writing melodies
Mm-hmm.
and lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
But accompaniment and beats and all of that background stuff is harmony. Ooh, God. Scary. What? What is that?
So, are we gonna? Have you already released music? Are you gonna release music?
I have not released any music. I mean, I don't have anything in the works. But
Potentially.
the most of the music I've done, it has been with like with shows or
Absolutely.
with choirs or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know.
What's your favorite work of art?
My favorite work of art,
Mm-hmm. Or favorite piece of media?
like as in like category or as in like the actual piece.
What do you mean? No,
So-
like just any piece of media. So like film,
Okay.
project, play.
Oh, okay.
Comic, anything.
So the type.
Yeah, sure.
I
Sure.
thought you were talking about like Parasite or like
Yeah. What's your favorite
Oh.
piece? Yeah.
Oh, okay. My favorite piece.
Yeah.
My top 3 are I can't pick one. Are Parasite, Paris is Burning,
Okay.
and oh God.
So
Why
tip of your
can't
tongue.
it's literally on the tip of my
tip of your
tongue. It
tongue.
starts with a P. It's all three of
All
them.
three
are
of them
P.
start with P's.
Yes.
I haven't seen Paris is Burning.
Parasite, Paris is Burning.
Parasite, of course.
Was it Pose? It might have been Pose.
TV show?
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
Pose.
Pose.
Okay.
Let's say Pose. I don't think it was Pose, but I'll just say
You're
it's
just gonna
Pose.
go with that.
I'll just say it's Pose.
You're just gonna go with that one. What are your favorite plays?
My favorite plays. Do you know John by Annie Baker?
Mm-mm.
That one's one of my favorites. It's kind of eerie and weird and creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see it staged. I've never seen it staged. I've only read the play.
Just assume I haven't seen much of anything.
Okay.
I'm just starting.
Obviously, Rent is my favorite musical.
Yeah.
Always has, always will be. Shrek the Musical is also one of my favorites. Yeah, Shrek the Musical is one of my favorites. Always will be. Nerdy Prudes Must Die.
Haven't heard of that one.
That one's a musical by Star Kid.
Okay.
I really enjoy that one.
I have to check out Star Kid.
Yeah. In terms of plays, I like. Honestly, Hit the Wall was really fun.
Yeah.
Not me like being like Rent and Hit the Wall like.
No, those
my
are your
own
favorites.
fucking shows. They were really fun to do, but also I really enjoyed the storyline for them. Yeah, let's keep it at that then.
What you wish USC would have put on, or the BAs would have put on,
Sorry,
like for mainline. What shows do you wish they would have put on
for main stage.
for main stage?
I don't know. I wish they would have put on low-key Angels as a general production, not
Yeah.
for BFA.
Not BFA one. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
But RIP. That's how the cookie crumbles, I guess.
What plays have you seen recently?
Recently, I haven't been playing it.
Just been too busy.
I've been too busy. I've been with midterms and blah, blah, blah.
What you been watching?
What have I... Oh, last week, I was in a existential doom scroll of... Or not doom scroll, but a doom binge
Okay.
of The Handmaid's Tale.
The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
I want to read the book.
I was in a complete fascist fear state.
Oh.
And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the show.
Oh.
Really, really enjoyed.
I've never heard of a doom binge before.
Yeah. It was really because I had like been sick, and so I had like been in bed, and so I was like, okay, let me like watch something.
Yeah.
I started watching it, and then obviously it's Handmaid's Tale. The story is like way too fucking close to home. And so I'm just like so fearful that Gilead will become a reality.
Yeah.
That I just kept on watching, and I literally spent the entire week. I didn't go to classes at all.
Oh wow.
I was still very sick, but also I couldn't tell if I was sick or if I was inducing my sickness by just staying in bed and just watching this series for a whole week. But I did watch all 5 seasons.
Wow. In 1 week?
In 1
Wow.
week.
Okay.
And I'm very
He
excited
was
for season
committed.
6.
He was committed.
Yeah. Very excited for season 6 though.
Wow.
I was gonna start what's it called? The Man in the High Castle, but I still have to get into it. The first episode was not giving for me though, so it was like.
But you went through it.
I didn't actually.
No,
I fell
you
asleep
said no.
in the middle of the first episode.
You said I'm not doing
I'll
this
try it
anymore.
again. I'll try it again another time. But
You said I'm not doing this anymore.
yeah.
What is your guilty pleasure? What's a guilty pleasure of yours in terms of media?
I don't know. What is a guilty pleasure of mine? I love I genuinely don't know.
It's okay if you don't have any.
I don't have any because why am I guilty about it?
That's a good point. That's a great point.
Why do I feel guilty
That's
about
a fantastic point.
Like, I don't care what you think. Like,
That's a sensational point.
yeah. That's it.
Be proud.
I'm proud of everything I like. Period.
What's something that you feel like you still are kind of in the learning process of, or that you feel that you're still kind of struggling with when it comes to acting?
That's a great question. I would say making sure that my characters are unlike me. I pride myself in the fact that like a lot of my characters are very grounded, and I find that groundedness within myself. But I had gotten this one comment by Dr. Carnegie while I was in her class, and she said, you know, you are an amazing actor, and you. Okay, she didn't phrase it like that. She didn't phrase it like, oh, you're an amazing actor and whatever, but she was essentially like, but I want you to try and find more difference between you and your characters. Because I see them being too close together.
Okay.
And I understood what she meant, and I'm like, yeah, I agree. I feel like my characters are too much like me. But I mean, it's like a strength and a weakness.
Yeah.
At times.
What do you feel like is the strongest part of, well, what do you feel like you have on lock when it comes to acting? What do you feel like it's just comes easily, naturally to you?
Immersion, I guess, like stepping into somebody else's shoes and
Absolutely.
circumstances and believing that I'm there. Being in the moment is definitely like one of my biggest strengths.
That's awesome.
Also, memorization. I'm pretty good at memorization.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair.
But that also comes from years and years of studying Chinese.
Unbelievable.
So it kind of sharpens your memorization.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah. That's crazy. I don't think I can. Well, memorization when it comes to acting, I'm great at. But when it comes to languages,
It's not much different.
I know it's not much different. It's just with myself, I don't feel like it's not going through. It's not going through.
You never know until you try.
It's not processing.
You never know until you try.
I've been trying. I've been trying for a while.
Really?
I did French. I did Japanese. I did Spanish.
And you never learned German.
I have not learned German.
Your home country.
I have not been faithful to my country. I hope in due time that I don't know at what point I would learn German.
For context, Trey was born in Germany.
Maybe I just have to just move over there and then just be like, you know what, just do it.
German is very similar to English.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of
very
common
similar
words.
to English.
Yeah. So hello in German is hallo. Hallo. Ja. Nein. Like der Winter ist kalt. The winter is cold. Der Winter ist kalt. There's a lot of things that are just very similar. Because they're both Germanic languages.
They're both Germanic languages.
English is a Germanic language.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
No, I don't know anything about German. I didn't know. I didn't know that English was a Germanic. No, I didn't know that. No,
Yeah.
no.
What did you think English was?
I don't know. I wasn't even thinking about that. I just accepted it as English. Just accepted it as just English.
English is Germanic. Just like Dutch and German. Norwegian and Swedish. All those. They're all Germanic languages.
What countries do you would you still want to go to? Would you want to go to?
Ooh, I really want to go to Japan. I've never been. I want to go back to China because there were a lot of things that when I went to China I didn't see and I want to go see.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to go to like South Africa would be cool.
Ooh.
I feel like.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Singapore would be really cool. Amsterdam, I want to go to.
Amsterdam, that'd be fire.
Copenhagen, that'd be cool. London also. Because I have EU citizenship and I can go anywhere in Europe.
Oh.
Except UK.
Oh.
But I've never been to like Northern Europe really all that much.
Mhm.
So that would be cool to see.
Oh man, would you ever? Do you feel like LA is your home for acting, or I know you said New York. Obviously, you want to go there too, but do you feel like you'd move on from LA, or that you'd kind of shift maybe?
I'm planning on being based in LA and Atlanta.
Yeah.
So whatever place gives me more opportunities, but yeah, after graduation, I'm definitely trying to stay in LA and trying to find my footing here first.
Absolutely.
Because ideally, I want to live in LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fire.
But depending on how this country goes, I might
That's
want
a
to move to Barcelona.
Great point. Figuring out a bit of everything.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see how we're surviving.
We'll see.
You excited for graduation?
Sure. I feel like, I don't know, ceremonies like graduations and stuff like that.
You're not for it?
Not really for it. Like, it's cute. is cute. Like to just go on stage and like accept a paper.
You think it's necessary? You're like, nah.
Like I think it's necessary because like most people will want it, but
Yeah.
I'm just like not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I kind of find them boring, but boring but necessary. You know.
My mind is just kind of just to get it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like whatever. I'm
I
done.
want to be done with this.
Yeah.
I have to stay, I think, one more semester because I have to do a summer class. Or I
I
need
see.
to do a summer class, and then I need to maybe do Spanish 3 next semester. So I'll walk the stage. I'm pretty sure I'm walking the stage, but
Okay, that's good.
I'm still here.
Yeah, it's just kind of like I'm more excited about the things surrounding graduation than actual graduation.
Yeah, that's a
like
great point.
graduation parties. And
Yeah.
the 9-0 bar crawl and you know my mother was like, "Oh, I'm gonna rent an Airbnb for your graduation party."
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, well, yes, please.
That's gonna be hype. No.
Like that'll be fun.
Yeah,
So,
I want to stay with I think my family is gonna, because I think housing ends like way earlier. So I think
yeah,
you have to do an Airbnb and actually stay. So it'd be cool to have the entire family
yeah,
and then have graduation. Yeah, but yeah, completely agree.
yeah.
But thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
having
being
me.
here.
It's such an honor.
It's an honor to have you on here. You're an amazing talent.
Oh, thank you.
My gosh.
Oh, thank you. You're too much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. Such a pleasure being here. If you ever want me back,
Hell yeah.
I'm always game, always down.
If you're not, busy doing absolutely everything.
Right.
Of course.
And make sure to eat your vegetables.
And we'll end it with that.